I stood there watching Bryce Hampton walk into my workspace with his gang of executives following behind like sheep. The guy was 28 with an MBA he probably got last month, while I'd spent twice that long building our government client list. In the Navy, we had a name for guys like this: all talk, no walk. But in corporate America, talk gets you promoted. My name is Daniel Pierce. 3 weeks ago, I was Senior Director of Strategic Operations at a marketing company that works with government contractors. At 48, after 8 years in Navy engineering and 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, I thought I'd seen every dirty trick in the book. I was wrong. "Everyone, meet Daniel. He'll be handling our legacy accounts," Bryce said, pointing at me like I was some old equipment they kept in storage. "From now on, he reports to me." Legacy accounts. That's what they called the relationships I'd built over 2 decades with Pentagon contractors and military base administrators. They were putting me out to pasture while the new guy took over everything I'd worked for. Nobody in that room looked at me. Not Scott Rivers from Government Relations, the kid I'd trained for 8 years, not Rachel Adams from Digital Marketing, not even Jennifer Walsh, who'd had coffee with me every Tuesday for 10 years. They all stared at their phones or shoes, anywhere but my face. CEO George Caldwell stepped up and put his hand on Bryce's shoulder like a proud dad. "We need fresh energy in government markets. Daniel can help you learn our history while you lead us forward." History. There it was again. I'd gone from being a current asset to being a museum piece. "You'll take the corner desk," Bryce told me, pointing to a cramped spot near the supply closet. "I need this office cleared by lunch." My office. The place where I'd closed deals worth millions with defense contractors, where I'd saved clients during budget cuts and government shutdowns, where I'd built something real. The wall still had the thank you letter from Charles Whitfield after I saved his base construction campaign during Hurricane Florence. "Got it," I said, keeping my voice steady. "In the military, you learn not to show emotion when you're under fire. Save the reaction for later, after you figure out what you're really dealing with." 3 hours later, I watched maintenance guys carry away my achievement plaques while Bryce supervised them hanging abstract art where my awards used to be. Each plaque represented a win, a client saved, a problem solved. Now they were going into storage like old junk. "The desk goes too," Bryce told the workers. "It's ancient." That desk was a gift from my team after we won the Department of Defense Marketing Excellence Award. Solid oak, built to last. Everything corporate America was moving away from. My new setup had a wobbly chair and a computer that took 5 minutes to boot up. The kind of workspace you give someone when you want them to quit. My phone, buzzed right away. "Daniel?" Scott Rivers sounded nervous. "Sorry, but Bryce called a team meeting in the conference room." "When?" Right now?" He said it's just for team leads." Team leads. They'd cut me out of a meeting about my own department. In intelligence work, this is called isolation, cutting your target off from information. "No worries," I lied. After hanging up, I saw a new email from Bryce to the whole department. Subject: Moving forward, new strategic vision. The attachment was a 16-page presentation that made my stomach drop. I opened it and couldn't believe what I was seeing. This wasn't just similar to the Pentagon contractor strategy I'd written 6 months ago. It was my exact proposal, word for word, down to the specific targets for Air Force and Army contracts. The same strategy our CEO had called too traditional when I presented it. But now it had Bryce's name on the cover. In the Navy, we had rules about this kind of theft. Document everything. Document. Build your case. Never react with emotion. That's how you lose credibility and give your enemy ammunition. I took photos of my screen with my phone, then forwarded my original proposal to my personal email. Timestamps don't lie. A yellow sticky note showed up on my desk at 4:30. Bryce's handwriting. My office, 5 o'clock sharp. I got there exactly at 5 o'clock. Military habits die hard. Bryce was leaning against my old desk, typing on his phone with the attitude of someone who'd never earned respect through actual work. "Sit," he said without looking up. I stayed standing. Small move, but whoever controls the space usually controls the conversation. He finally looked up, annoyed I hadn't followed orders. "Your Pentagon strategy got great feedback in today's executive meeting." "You mean my Pentagon strategy?" His smile never changed. "Your research was useful background, sure, but background isn't strategy, Daniel. I modernized your basic ideas into something we could actually use." Modernized. I'd heard officers use that same language when they stole ideas from enlisted guys. Different words, same tune. You copied my work, I said, keeping my voice level. In intelligence training, you never show your cards early. Let the target dig his own hole. That's a serious accusation, Bryce said, putting his phone down slowly, especially from someone in your position. What position is that? He leaned back in my old chair. People who stay at one company too long get territorial, resistant to change. The CEO understands this might be tough for you. In the Navy, they valued guys like me, sailors who knew how things really worked beyond what was in the manual. In corporate America, that knowledge was apparently a problem. Is that why you cut me out of my team meeting? Bryce sighed like a teacher dealing with a difficult student. I needed honest feedback about leadership. People can't speak freely with their old boss sitting there. That hit me like punch. He'd been working my own team against me, getting them to complain about me behind closed doors. We're restructuring next month, he continued, trying to sound sympathetic. Some jobs will be cut, others will change. Your future here depends on how well you adapt. The threat was clear. He was offering me a chance to surrender before the real fight started. Anything else? I asked. Yes. The Whitfield presentation tomorrow. I'm taking it. Charles Whitfield, my client for 16 years. The Pentagon contracts officer who'd specifically requested that I handle his account personally. The relationship I'd built through budget crises, administration changes, and countless emergency calls. Charles asked for me specifically. I talked to Charles this morning, Bryce said with fake confidence. He's on board with the new direction. He was tearing apart everything I'd built. My job, my relationships, my reputation. This wasn't just corporate politics, it was warfare. That's all, he said, going back to his phone like I didn't matter. I walked out past the glass conference room where my team was still meeting. They went quiet when they saw me, looking away like guilty kids. Whatever Bryce had told them had worked. Back at my corner desk, there was an email from HR waiting. Performance Development Plan, confidential, a PIP. In corporate speak, that's a 90-day death sentence. The document listed resistance to new leadership and territorial behavior. Reading it felt like a report written by the enemy. I'd given 20 years to this company, worked through my divorce when Nicole left because I was never home, missed my son Stone's graduation to handle a client crisis, skipped every vacation and family dinner for work emergencies. Now some kid who'd probably never worked a weekend was erasing me like I'd never existed. I shut down my computer, grabbed my stuff, and walked out without saying goodbye to anyone. In the parking garage, I sat in my truck for 20 minutes watching other people head home to their families. I was angry, sure. But underneath that was something else, something cooler and more familiar. In Naval Intelligence, we had a saying, emotion tells you the stakes, not the strategy. I knew what I was feeling, but I needed to think like the analyst I used to be. That night, I didn't call Nicole to complain. Didn't crack open a beer and feel sorry for myself. Instead, I fired up my laptop and started what we used to call a threat assessment. My external hard drive had 15 years of work files. Every email, every project, every presentation I'd ever done. I'd started backing everything up after a server crash almost killed 3 years of client data back in 2011. In the military, we called it operational security. In corporate life, it was just common sense. But digging through those files, I realized I had something better than just my work history. I had a pattern recognition system trained by military intelligence and sharpened by 20 years of corporate strategy. Bryce hadn't just stolen my Pentagon strategy. Looking at the file data, I could see he'd accessed my proposals within hours of joining the company. That meant someone gave him my login info or he'd found another way into our systems. I opened a secure notes app, old Navy habit, and started documenting everything. When Bryce got hired, when the merger happened, when he first pitched ideas to leadership, when my team members suddenly became unavailable for our regular meetings. What came together wasn't random office politics. It was a planned operation. By 2 a.m., I had something that made my hands shake. Not from anger this time, but from recognition. I'd seen this pattern before in briefings about corporate spying and sabotage. Bryce Hampton wasn't just some ambitious MBA trying to climb over the old guys. He was something much worse, and I was the only one who could see it. The next morning, I got to the office before sunrise, old Navy habit that had always worked well in corporate life. While Bryce and his crew were probably still celebrating their victory, I was doing what intelligence officers call surveillance. My corner spot had one advantage Bryce hadn't thought about. I could see his office and the main conference room without anyone noticing. From my desk near the supply closet, I could watch meeting patterns, track visitors, and monitor communications. Over the next week, I documented everything. Bryce's meetings ran like clockwork. Same people, always behind closed doors, always followed by private phone calls. It reminded me of security protocols I'd seen in classified work. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Scott Rivers showed up at my desk Thursday afternoon, looking uncomfortable and avoiding eye contact. "Daniel, I need to tell you something," he said, checking to make sure nobody was watching. "About that team meeting last week." I waited. In interrogation training, silence is your most powerful tool. "Bryce didn't just ask about your management style," Scott continued, dropping his voice. "He wanted specifics about your file access, your backup systems, whether you keep work documents at home." The pieces clicked together like a machine. Bryce hadn't been running a typical corporate power grab. He'd been doing what we called a capabilities assessment, mapping my resources, my network, my vulnerabilities. "He recorded everything we said," Scott added. "Had his phone on the table the whole time, said it was for documentation." "What else did he ask?" Scott looked miserable. "Your military background, whether you'd mentioned specific training or outside contacts, whether you seemed to have connections beyond the company. Professional intelligence gathering. Bryce had been treating me like a target for systematic exploitation, not just a corporate rival." That evening, I made a decision that would have shocked my younger, more trusting self. I was going to investigate Bryce Hampton the same way I'd once investigated foreign assets who posed threats to national security. I started with public records, corporate filings, business registrations, LinkedIn connections, university databases, information that's freely available if you know where to look and how to connect the dots. Bryce's previous company was called Apex Consulting, a mid-sized firm specializing in government contractor relations. According to public records, they'd gone bankrupt 8 months ago after losing most of their clients. Nothing unusual there. Consulting firms failed all the time. But when I dug into the timeline, something didn't add up. Apex had been doing great until about 18 months ago. Strong client list, good press coverage, steady growth. Then suddenly, over 6 months, they lost 70% of their government contracts. I pulled up old news articles and quarterly reports, building a timeline of Apex's collapse. What I found made my chest tight. The same pattern happening at our company had played out at Apex almost exactly. Young hotshot joins the firm. Traditional leadership gets pushed aside. New strategies get implemented. Client relationships get modernized. Then systematic failure. I cross-checked Bryce's employment dates with Apex's client losses. He'd joined Apex 22 months ago as Director of Strategic Innovation. The client defection started exactly 4 months later, but here's what made my intelligence training start screaming warnings. After Apex collapsed, their client list got bought by an investment group called Hampton Holdings for almost nothing. Hampton Holdings. Same last name as Bryce. I ran Hampton Holdings through every corporate database I could access. Shell company registered in Delaware, with ownership traces leading through dozens of subsidiary corporations. The kind of structure you build when you want to hide who's really in control. It took 3 days of careful digging, but I finally found the connection that made everything clear. Hampton Holdings was controlled by Global Defense Marketing, our biggest competitor in the government contractor space. Bryce Hampton hadn't been hired to improve our operations. He'd been planted to destroy us from the inside, then move our clients to Global Defense through the same bankruptcy scheme he'd used at Apex Consulting. Corporate espionage, industrial sabotage, the kind of operation that federal prosecutors love to prosecute. I had evidence of pattern and method, but I needed proof of intent, something concrete that would hold up in corporate boardrooms and federal courtrooms. That's when I remembered something Scott had mentioned. Bryce kept detailed files in his office, locked in what he called his strategic planning cabinet. Friday evening, after Bryce left for his usual happy hour routine, I made my move. The strategic planning cabinet wasn't that secure. Standard office lock, the kind you could open with basic tools if you knew what you were doing, and I definitely knew what I was doing. Inside, I found exactly what I expected, and worse. Detailed files on every key employee in our strategic operations division, financial analysis of our client relationships with specific plans for moving each account to Global Defense's portfolio. timeline documents showing how they planned to dismantle our company. And at the bottom, a folder labeled Pierce Daniel Neutralization Strategy. My hands stayed steady as I photographed every document with my phone. 20 years of corporate experience, 8 years of military training, and I'd never felt more focused. They'd made one critical mistake. They'd underestimated who they were dealing with. Monday morning, I walked into the office carrying a manila folder and the calm confidence of someone who'd spent the weekend preparing for war. Bryce's neutralization strategy had been thorough, but it had one fatal flaw. He documented everything. In intelligence, work, we had a rule: never write down what you can't afford to have read in court. I placed the folder on Bryce's desk at 7 a.m., an hour before he usually showed up. Simple note attached: for your review, strategic planning analysis. Then I went to my corner desk and waited. Bryce arrived at his usual time, coffee in hand, phone already pressed to his ear. I watched him notice the folder, frown, and end his call fast. He opened it like he was defusing a bomb. His reaction was everything I'd hoped for. His face went through confusion, recognition, then panic. He grabbed his phone and made 3 quick calls, his voice too low to hear, but his body language screaming crisis. Within 20 minutes, CEO George Caldwell was walking toward Bryce's office, followed by our head of security and someone I didn't recognize. Expensive suit, federal agent written all over him. The meeting lasted 2 hours. Through the glass walls, I could see Bryce waving his hands, pointing at me, pulling up files on his laptop. Caldwell's expression got darker by the minute. At 11:30, security walked Bryce out of the building. He didn't even get to clean out his desk. My phone rang immediately. Caldwell's assistant. "Mr. Pierce, please report to the executive conference room." I found Caldwell waiting with Monica Davis from the board of directors, Ashley Bennett from legal, and the stranger from Bryce's office, who introduced himself as Agent Logan Hart from the FBI's Economic Crimes Unit. "Sit down, Daniel," Caldwell said, his voice carefully neutral. "We need to talk about the materials you provided this morning." I took the seat across from Caldwell, hands folded calmly on the table. After 8 years of military debriefings and 20 years of corporate meetings, I knew when to speak and when to wait. Agent Hart leaned forward. "Mr. Pierce, how did you get these documents?" "They were left unsecured in an unlocked office," I said truthfully. "I photographed them when I observed a potential security breach." Monica Davis looked at me with new interest. "You're claiming Mr. Hampton was conducting industrial espionage?" "I'm showing you documented evidence of systematic corporate sabotage," I corrected. "The patterns match similar operations at his previous company, which was conveniently acquired by the same investment group that now competes directly with our government contracts." Agent Hart nodded. "We've been tracking this network for 18 months. Your evidence fills in several gaps in our investigation." Caldwell looked sick. "How bad is the damage?" I opened my laptop. Bryce accessed over 1,200 confidential files during his time here. He copied strategic plans worth approximately $25 million in projected revenue. He systematically undermined 9 key client relationships, with 6 already showing signs of moving to global defense marketing. "But the good news," I continued, "is that I caught the pattern early enough to prevent most of the damage. Charles Whitfield's contract, for instance, has specific language that voids their agreement if their assigned account manager is changed without written consent. Bryce never bothered to read that clause." Monica Davis was taking notes rapidly. "What's your recommendation for damage control?" "Full transparency with affected clients, immediate security audit of all systems Bryce accessed, and implementation of the operational security protocols I outlined in my original strategic plan, the one Bryce tried to steal." Caldwell finally spoke up. "Daniel, I owe you an apology, several apologies." "What I want," I said, "isn't an apology. It's a commitment that this company will value institutional knowledge alongside innovation. That experience will be treated as an asset, not a liability." Agent Hart closed his notebook. "Mr. Pierce will need your full cooperation as this investigation proceeds. Mr. Hampton and his associates are facing federal charges for corporate espionage, wire fraud, and conspiracy." "Of course," I replied, "whatever you need." After the FBI agent left, Caldwell turned to Monica Davis. "I want Daniel heading up our new corporate security division. Full authority to implement counterintelligence protocols across all subsidiaries." Monica nodded. Agreed. And Daniel, we're also promoting you to VP of Strategic Operations. Your first assignment is auditing our other recent hires for similar patterns. That afternoon, Charles Whitfield called personally. Daniel, I just heard what happened. Son, in 16 years of working together, I've never been more impressed. How did you see it coming? I looked out my window, my original office now restored to me, at the city skyline. The Navy taught us that the best defense is knowing your enemy better than they know themselves. Bryce made the mistake of thinking corporate espionage was just business. But this was personal. He attacked my team, my relationships, my reputation. That made it war. And you won. We all won. The company's secure, the clients are safe, and next quarter we're implementing the Pentagon contractor strategy I originally proposed, under my leadership. The investigation moved fast after that. Agent Hart's team had been building a case against Global Defense's espionage network for over a year. My evidence was the missing piece they needed to prove the pattern. Within a week, they'd arrested 3 other operatives at different companies. The scheme was bigger than anyone had imagined, a systematic campaign to infiltrate and destroy small government contractors, then absorb their clients through shell companies. Scott Rivers came to my office Friday afternoon, looking relieved and ashamed at the same time. Daniel, I wanted to apologize. I should have come to you sooner about what Bryce was doing. You came when it mattered, I said. That took guts. Most people would have kept quiet to protect themselves. What happens now? Now you become my deputy in the corporate security division. Consider it part of your education, learning to spot threats before they can do damage. The kid smiled for the first time in weeks. Yes, sir. Sir. I liked the sound of that. 2 months later, the Bryce Hampton trial started making headlines. Federal prosecutors called it one of the most sophisticated corporate espionage operations they'd ever seen, spanning 15 companies across 6 states. The prosecution had everything they needed: documented theft of intellectual property, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit industrial sabotage. Bryce's own files provided most of the evidence. He got 12 years in federal prison. Our company didn't just survive, we thrived. The Pentagon contractor expansion I'd originally proposed exceeded projections by 31%. Charles Whitfield renewed his contract for another 5 years, specifically requesting that I personally oversee his account until one of us retires. Jennifer Walsh stopped by my office with coffee Tuesday morning, just like old times. Things feel normal again, she said. Better than normal, I replied. We learned something important, that experience and institutional knowledge aren't liabilities. They're weapons, if you know how to use them. The real victory wasn't destroying Bryce Hampton. It was proving that in corporate America, just like in military service, there's no substitute for competence, loyalty, and the patience to let your enemy defeat themselves. Some battles are won with flash and aggression. The important ones are won with preparation, intelligence, and the wisdom that comes from understanding that every war is ultimately about protecting what matters most. 6 months after Bryce's arrest, I got a call that put everything in perspective. It was from Colonel Mike Rodriguez, my old Navy commander, now working as a defense contractor in San Diego. Daniel, I've been following the news about that espionage case. Heard you were the one who broke it. Open. Just did my job, sir. Like hell. You saved a lot of companies from getting gutted. Word's getting around the veteran contractor network. People know what you did. That meant more to me than any corporate promotion. In the military, reputation travels through unofficial channels, and it matters more than official recognition. There's something else, Rodriguez continued. I'm putting together a consortium of veteran-owned contractor firms. We want to discuss bringing your company into the network. What kind of network? Mutual protection, information sharing, making sure what happened to you doesn't happen to other veteran-owned businesses. Corporate espionage is targeting our community specifically because they think we're easier marks. I thought about that. They think we're old-fashioned, stuck in the past. Exactly. But what they don't understand is that old-fashioned means battle-tested. We've seen real war. Corporate games are nothing compared to what we've been through. The consortium meeting was set for the following month. 12 veteran-owned firms representing over $2 billion in government contracts. The kind of alliance that could protect smaller companies from the kind of systematic attack I'd survived. Meanwhile, our own company was hitting milestones I'd only dreamed about. The Pentagon contractor strategy we'd implemented brought in 4 new major clients in the first quarter. The corporate security protocols I'd designed were being adopted by other firms as industry standard. George Caldwell called me into his office on a Friday afternoon. Daniel, I wanted you to hear this first. The board voted unanimously to name you Executive VP of Strategic Operations and Corporate Security. You'll have a seat on the board starting next quarter. Board of Directors. At 48, I'd reached a level that most people spend their entire careers trying to achieve. There's one more thing, Caldwell continued. We want to establish the Daniel Pierce Fellowship for Military Veterans, transitioning to corporate leadership. Full scholarship, mentorship program, guaranteed internship placement. I had to clear my throat before I could respond. That's incredible, George. It's overdue. We should have been doing this for years. That evening, I called my son Stone at college. He was a junior now, studying business administration, something I'd quietly influenced without being pushy about it. Dad, I saw the article in the Wall Street Journal about your promotion. That's amazing. Thanks, son. How are your classes going? Good. Actually, I've been thinking about what you said about public service. I'm considering applying for Navy ROTC. I felt something tighten in my chest, pride mixed with concern. That's a big decision. I know, but watching what you went through, how you handled it, I want to have that kind of backbone, that kind of purpose. After we hung up, I sat in my restored office, looking at the thank you letter from Charles Whitfield that was back on my wall. Outside the window, the city was lighting up as people headed home to their families. Nicole had called the week before to congratulate me on the promotion. Our divorce had been ugly, but time and success had softened the edges. I always knew you were too stubborn to give up, she'd said. I'm proud of what you accomplished. Maybe there was hope for rebuilding some kind of relationship there. Not romantic, too much water under that bridge, but something respectful, adult, for Stone's sake, if nothing else. Scott Rivers knocked on my doorframe. He'd grown into his role as Deputy Director of Corporate Security, showing the kind of judgment and integrity that reminded me why I'd mentored him in the first place. Daniel, the quarterly security report is ready for your review. How are we looking? Clean, no unusual access patterns, no suspicious hiring, all background checks verified through multiple sources. The protocols you designed are working. Good. Any word on the global defense investigation? Agent Hart called this afternoon. They're charging the CEO and 3 board members with racketeering. The whole network is coming down. I nodded. Justice was slow, but it was thorough. Scott, I want you to start thinking about succession planning for your role. You're ready for bigger responsibilities. The kid, though he wasn't really a kid anymore, smiled. You planning to retire on me? Not retire, expand. The veteran contractor consortium I mentioned is going to need experienced security leadership. I think you'd be perfect for it. 2 years later, I stood in the Pentagon's Hall of Honor, receiving the Department of Defense Civilian Service Award for exceptional contribution to the protection of national security interests in the private sector. Charles Whitfield was there, now retired but still consulting on major projects. Agent Hart attended. Agent Hart, representing the FBI's gratitude for my cooperation in the largest corporate espionage case in their history. My son Stone was there too, now a Navy ensign fresh out of ROTC, sharp in his dress whites. Nicole sat next to him, and for the first time since our divorce, we felt like a family again. The award citation mentioned my innovative counterintelligence protocols and dedication to protecting American business interests from foreign and domestic threats. Fancy words for doing what needed to be done. But the real reward wasn't the medal or the recognition. It was the knowledge that I'd protected something important, not just my own career, but the principle that experience and integrity matter more than flash and ambition. The Veteran Contractor Consortium had grown to 47 companies across 12 states. We'd prevented 8 attempted espionage operations and helped 23 veteran-owned firms secure major government contracts. That's not revenge, that's responsibility, and it's exactly where a 48-year-old Navy veteran belongs. Protecting the things that matter most. Experience isn't just about surviving corporate battles. It's about knowing which fights are worth having and which enemies will destroy themselves if you give them enough rope. The most dangerous weapon in any workplace isn't politics or connections. It's a patient man who pays attention, takes notes, and never forgets that competence always wins in the end. I'm still here. They're not. And every day I use what I learned to make sure others don't have to fight the same battle alone. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, and sometimes experience really does trump arrogance. Every time. In corporate America, they'll try to convince you that your experience is outdated, but the truth is simple. There's no substitute for a man who's seen real battles and knows how to win wars that matter. The young guns think they're playing chess while the old veterans are stuck playing checkers, but they never realize we've been playing a completely different game all along. One where patience and wisdom always checkmate flash and arrogance.